Okay, team, welcome to the next podcast. I'm very lucky to be in the studio with Jordi today. We've actually just shot a training session to show what it's like to be in the studio with Jordi, to experience his energy and to see his magic. It was incredible. We're going to share this as a training video which will come out very soon. But first of all, I just wanted to first of all say thank you for the last 3 years and 13 days that you've been with us.
Oh, almost an anniversary.
Since the 1st of January 2020, this is the furthest I can go back today just to find your AVO. What do you think your average order was from the 1st of January 2020 till now?
Oh, wow. No idea, especially, I mean, I don't know, I have no idea.
2,318
Wow, I hit silver. Because I've been so many months in bronze. I'm happy to be in silver.
That's pretty impressive. That's really impressive, actually, to be honest. Look, I've worked with Jordi for a very long time, and I'm going to see if he remembers the first time we met. So, do you remember the first interview? Do you remember why you applied for Verve? And can you tell us about your first impressions of Verve?
Okay, I remember when we met each other. It was here in the big studio here, and it was maybe 20 people interview. It was a lot of people, and it was a role. And I said, I was gonna say about war. No, I said it's an interview, and you're doing a role play in front of 20 people. Like this is, and I was so nervous, and I'm so relaxed sometimes, always. And I thought, oh my God, I was so nervous at some point. I had to comment some photo. I don't know if you remember that. So everybody was picking a photo and we had to sell the photo to you. And I will never forget, I say, and it only comes for the price of 2,900. And you say to me, 2,900 only is too expensive. And you broke me there. Like I said, that was my first time you knew what you were doing. Now I would have a lot of objection handling. But before it was like, okay, if you say it's not cheap, I don't know what else to say. But yeah, that was my first point, and it was impressive to see 20 people in an interview. To be honest, it was like I said, I came with not too many expectations, to be honest. And when I saw that 20 people wanted for that job, I said I'm very competitive, and I thought I'm just gonna get that job. I'm just gonna do everything. So that was my first impression. Later on, we met each other in another short interview with Delta and yourself. I remember that as well there, and I brought a bunch of prints and something like this. But yeah, that was my first. My first impression was wow, the studios, everything. The photo studio is quite impressive, And then 20 people wanted to apply for the same job. That was wow, that gives me that kind of challenge, that I always like to take. If it was only 2 people, I would say.
Not bothered.
Maybe not gonna bother.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Well, look, for anyone who hasn't met Jordi, I could put my hand on my heart and say he's the most stylish man I've ever met. For anyone who hasn't seen Jordi is very stylish in the way his clothes, but he's also renowned for having quite a lot of tattoos. With the tattoos and working with kids, what's the first impressions with kids? Do they ever comment, or does it help you, or do you have to change their kind of perception?
It's a good question, actually. Thanks for asking me a question. And look, you need to be careful. You need to be very slowly with them. Nowadays tattoos are not that bad. I know, so many people have tattoos nowadays, but I'm being careful more also for the parents. There's traditional families here where you need to go slowly with them and then introduce yourself until they know you and they just realize it's just tattoos. It's not like a gang or something like this. But the kids, they like the drawings, to be honest. Normally they like the drawings and they point my drawings, and that social bad component of that, of having tattoos is not in the kids yet, but with the parents sometimes, especially if they are from some traditional countries. I used to be slowly until they know me, and then they know how to act with the kids. Look, I think tattoos for the kids is not a problem, more for the parents sometimes. But again, slowly, you keep the distance, and then once you warm up, they just don't care, if you have tattoos. No, that's my experience here over the 3 years.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we've seen you grow so fast and develop so fast in Verve. You're renowned for coming to every workshop, every training that we put on. How do you think that's helped in some way? And why do you think you've grown and developed so fast in Verve?
3 years is not developing that fast. That's the first thing I would say. But look, I like to make the most of my time. If I'm in one place, why being not taking everything they give you, all the tools they're giving you, just to improve as a photographer, as a person. If I'm in that job in photography, it's because I want to get better. I want to be more creative. I want to be a better photographer. It's not like I just want to, pass the time. I'm just gonna use my time wisely. We were talking about that before. For me, it's a big part of my job is getting free trainings, like what I used to say. It's amazing. I used to say to people, it's amazing professionals giving you everything they know. They don't keep anything for themselves, which would be also an option, Look, I'm the creative director. I want to be always, shooting better than you. They give you all they have. And as Verve evolved, I did evolve with them as well, and that new styling, new lighting, all the inspirations. You've been planning that, and all my photos are coming from trainings. I didn't miss any training, not even one training, not even COVID. It was raining. I just asked for days off in my other jobs just to get the training because I was such a big part. I love the training and the learning part of Verve, which I think for me it's a big part because sometimes it's intense. Sometimes it's very challenging. Sometimes it's a bit. You get a little bit of a stress and under the pressure because it's so many people looking at you, and the creative directors that can be looking at your shows and everything. But this one is, and then you have doubts, oh my God, this is too much pressure for me. But then it gets that kind of a learning part, which I think for me that makes a difference. I'm 44. I'm still willing to learn and new ideas, new techniques. That's something I'm gonna miss a lot.
That's so interesting, and I think it's also important to touch on anxiety and mindset and everything that goes into being a photographer, because everyone who's not a photographer thinks it's easy. They think, oh, you just turn up, you're just a creative, you just take some great photographs. Tell us about, because we both suffer with anxiety, we know, our journeys. How do you do anything that helps your mindset, or how you prepare for a big day of shoots?
That's a very good question as well. In order to push my boundaries, I need that kind of, I wouldn't say anxiety, but that kind of pressure, that kind of excitement. If you transform that anxiety in excitement, it's something that you can use in the studio. And this is the key, in my opinion, getting that kind of, transforming that anxiety into excitement. And this is the excitement we were talking in my shows before. And it's the same feeling. It's just the pumping the heart, and it's the same feeling. You just transform it, and I use it in the studio. And I create that kind of a crazy first part of the show where everybody's laughing, and then I jump with the kids, and we have the pillow fight, and it comes from the same place, that kind of excitement. So I think if you are able to transform that into excitement, I think it's a very important. And you need to take the challenges, and you need to be able to push your boundaries. For me, that push is what I need. Otherwise, I would get a bit lazy, to be honest. But that push of being that kind of under that pressure is what helps.
And what about though, if you do a really good session plan and you're inspired and you've got a great mood boards, do you think that helps?
100%. We talked about that before. 100%. Look, there is a moment when after a while, you have more or less everything in your head. But for the first years, for me, having a good plan, and what I'm doing now is what I've been doing now for the last couple of years is making myself folders of the best photo shoots in Verve. I've been doing that myself, and then having a look, and then I just get folders with one kid, couples, and then I just have a look. I open the folder and I have a look at the best shows from Verve in all the different families structures. And for me having that kind of a quick look and adding one new idea. Once you are more or less have the plan already, it's always good to add one or two new ideas in every show, and that's how you're growing up a little bit. But preparing yourself, I think it's very important, and leaving everything for improvise. I think it's sometimes works, sometimes it's very risky, and having a clear idea, it helps you to get the variety you need. Otherwise, you don't get the variety. You don't get 45 images.
You are the only the second photographer to get advanced variety as a creative rank. And I think looking at your shows, the way you've kind of pushed yourself, and you've actually now got a Jordi style, which we were talking about earlier, which is shooting with a wide angle lens, like almost 35 mil, from a lower perspective or higher perspective, but shooting close. When did that come about? Has that come from like your fashion background?
It is a little bit. Again, I think a year ago I saw a photo shoot. I think it was from Sydney, from Luca maybe or someone, that he added a couple of photos with the teenagers or of boys where it was adding something different. As soon as you see all the photos together, you can see that kind of wide angle. It comes, I guess it's a bit fashion angle as well. It comes a little bit from my fashion background. I used to say to the families I do fashion as well, so they can expect a little bit that kind of fashion angles. And it works for the young people, of course. It doesn't work for everybody, but for the young people, for young kids, it brings a little bit. And now I'm adding, which is also something I saw it's from another studio, so we fit each other at the end. And I saw a photo shoot from above, very, very above. And then I using my ladder. As soon as I come from below, I just jump in the ladder and come from above. Same pose, a little bit of variation, but it's totally different shot. And it's just creating two different angles, and you get two different shoots totally different, two different images, and they're great because you don't have to move them. Like they're perfect there. I just come from below to above, and then you get that kind of variety. But yeah, all that kind of crazy angles come a little bit for fashion, a bit of everything, bit for fashion. But I saw that for those images inside there before. So I think yes, I think we then you adapt your own version. But I think I have the feeling we fit each other all the time, and that I think that this is great. Someone adds something at some point, and then someone is going to replicate it, and I love that, So we fit in each other. I think is a great thing.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the weirdest or strangest or most memorable photo shoots that you've had in Verve.
Look, I think I told you last month or 2-3 weeks ago, I was creating that kind of moment where son and wife were very close, and I like to talk about how beautiful family they have, and they look amazing and they're so close, and apparently they were separated for a while, in different countries. He came before, and then they come from Iran, I think, and then I saw that just scratching his eyes a lot, and then at some point I thought he was crying, and I was taking photos, and I started like 5 minutes, 10 minutes taking photos of him, and he started just literally crying. And I thought it was so sweet, so cute. It was a 50-year-old man crying with the son. It was a beautiful moment. And it meant a lot to me because I thought I'm creating here a beautiful, family moment. And I start getting emotional as well. I say to them, I need to stop here. I'm going to give you 5 minutes for yourself. I'm just going to leave the room. I'll come back in 5 minutes because I'm also getting super emotional. And that was a beautiful moment. That happened a month ago. It never happened to me before. That was a great moment where I wasn't expecting. Even mom, wife wasn't expecting that. But it was one of my favorite moments in Verve, to be honest. That was a great moment.
That's so nice. And I think we've seen you really develop and create much more connection recently, actually. Have you got any connection phrases or things that you do to create those moments? How do you go about it?
Oh, there is some. Well, I normally we have some book phrases that I remember when I started in Verve. We used to practice a lot of phrases, which is just think about your first kiss, think about your first. I still do that for the couples because I think it works for me, and I just say no kids now, and then I say, for example, I don't think about something. I just say the first day you met, like close your eyes and think about the day. I'm still using that phrases, and then I tell them about the kiss, and then I make some joke and say, oh, what happened? You don't remember? Or oh, happened? Too much tongue? It was too fast? Too drunk? Or something like this? And they have a little laugh and they have a little smile. That's all I need to create that moment as a couple. And then when they're all together with the kid as well, I say, oh, that's a beautiful moment. Just enjoy it because it's gonna pass so fast, and just enjoy your kid. It's just in front of you, and just enjoy that moment of connections. For example, like a mom asking to bite the cheek of a couple. So the girl biting the cheek of him. That moment, I always finish with that moment for the last maybe 3 months, and it's a great moment because you say, what? Are you gonna bite the cheek? And then as soon as she gets close, it doesn't have to get the real bite, but as soon as she gets close and he's waiting for the bite, I love to finish like this because it's the smile I wanna get, at the end, and it's a good, sweet taste at the end of the show, finishing with that smile. For me, that's a wrap up, and I love that kind of bite in the cheek. And you will see all my last photos in the last 20 sessions is mom biting the cheek of that. You'll see.
I can actually think of some images which I've seen, and they're laughing hysterically, but I have no idea what's going on. So what about working with kids, and any tips that you can share? Because I've just seen you shoot. You use some great tips like reverse psychology. I've seen you use it quite a lot, but just your playful nature becomes really endearing for kids, and they just warm to you instantly. Could you share some tips for a new photographer or anything that you do, to make kids laugh, I guess?
For me, when I do the family, the tickles is the one I use always. And even sometimes even teenagers, I say, I'm super ticklish, I'm 44, so just, can we try with her or with mom or with dad? I do ticklish with everybody. For me, it works. And honestly, it's a very classic, like the tickles. But for me, it's how I start. And then I do another games. You saw before the game I do. If it's younger siblings, I do the storm in the bed, which is it recreate a boat, and then I say it's a boat, and it's so cold, it's raining, and then I create the thunderstorms. And it works, they like it. They close their eyes, that kind of games work. I saw you doing a lot of games as well when you have children as well. And I think that kind of games, they are, for the kids, they help not to think they're in a photo shoot. They are just playing in a park or somewhere else. And it helps just to keep them a little bit more alive, a bit more engaging. While if you would be like only photos, you will lose them a bit earlier. But if you keep playing games, I think it's a very important. And then I do the kick one, and then I just say like you need to copy what I do, and then I do for the boy I do the kick, for the girl I do the spin. And so we try to create. And so with mom as well, I like to do, for example, mom I like to do the spin with the baby. I like to do that. They're throwing the baby away, so a bit of action is always helping, and they love it. Like when there is movement and action, they love it. So not sitting all the time, because then they're gonna get tired and bored so easily. And if there is a bit of action for me, it helped me to break a little bit that kind of a boring flash, because they get they get bored after 5 minutes. They think this is not.
Yeah, you've got to keep it interesting.
For me, exactly.
Over the last 3 years, you've probably learned a lot. If you could write a letter to yourself that you received in your first week of training, and it just had some great advice or some tips that you would read, and it would help you through your Verve journey, what type of advice would you give to yourself?
Oh wow, how good question is that? Oh wow, I think I would say so many things. What advice I would give to myself like 3 years ago? I would go back to that kind of anxiety, transform the anxiety into excitement. I think that's a bit. We're talking about that. I think that's the best. I don't know if you want something new. So because we talk about that.
No. It's a really.
That's a great thing, because before when you start, it's like oh my god, I have 3 kids. Oh my god, what am I gonna do? Just get excited about it, And then everything. It's a bit more scary before a start. When you start, and sometimes you are super tired as well. And I say, oh my god, now I have have to do with the family, and you're super tired. And then when you start, oh my God, you're getting into that, and it just starts sometimes. Okay, that's my advice. Just start. Even if you are tired or you are anxious and you're nervous, just start. Because once you start, everything goes smoother. 100% all the time.
So at this stage, the camera did decide to die, but we kept the recording going and we've got a few more minutes to go.
It makes me sad, but we do have to talk about you leaving, and I did try everything, for the world.
You did.
To Jordi.
Very much. That feels so good. I feel valued. That's a good feeling.
So tell us, what is next? What are you going on to do? Tell us all.
I need to transform the anxiety of going back to Europe into excitement.
Yeah.
This is that works for everything. I have ideas. I have plans, but again, it's all very uncertain. Like I don't know. I don't have anything, which it would have been much easier, to go to a studio in Europe. And so I need to start there from scratch, looking for a studio that suits me as well, because I don't want to waste my time. This is the same thing I was saying here about the trainings. I don't want to waste my time. I want to grow up as a person and also as a photographer. So this is the whole idea of moving to Europe. And even if it's hard, because it's going to be, the idea is growing up and find something that suits me, nor also in money on all the working hours. So it's also the concept, the something that can give me that it's going to make me better photographer. See where it goes.
Well, look, we know that you're going to do amazing, and it is something that you've been wanting to do for a while, and it's just an opportunity that you have to take, and we can't find it anymore. So from everyone here at Verve, from Ollie, Kane, Yasmin, Delta, Beck, all of us, we want to wish you the very best. And the door is always open if you want to come back to your home over here.
I'm not saying no.